Hello, good evening and welcome to the Virtual Racers Club. We're here at Lago Maggiore Reverse for the Formula X Championship for round 3. And what an exciting race we've got ahead for us. We've got some things to go through. Breaking news first and foremost. Jokus, the team principal of Red Bull, has stood aside to take more of a serious role in the principal duties, and he's put VRC Dutch in the second Red Bull. So look, as we can see, there he is. His first race. He raced with us here at the Virtual Racers Club a while back. Took a bit of a break, and now he's back, jumping deep into the deep end. And we've got about 10 minutes, less than 10 minutes before the race starts. I'll try and get through all of the business that we need to get through. First and foremost, we'll talk about the table, the manufacturers first. I believe there's Mika Wivery in the chat. Hello, good evening, and welcome, Mika. So, leading the championship after 2 rounds are Ferrari on 66 points. Then in second, Aston Martin on 65 points. In third, Red Bull Racing on 45 points. In fourth, McLaren on 40 points. In fifth, Williams on 35 points. In sixth, Alpine on 31 points. And in seventh, Mercedes on 20 points. After 2 rounds, they get awarded tokens for their manufacturers' positions, and I believe this has taken place. And I don't know if it's all meant to be secretive, if no one's really saying what they've used and such. What it's interesting. I'll read out the only information that's been disclosed on Discord so far is that token spend changes. Ferrari plus 2% power, but also plus 3% weight. So I don't know how many tokens they've used to get there, but that is now their new base. They're plus 2 on the power and plus 3 on weight. So it'll be interesting to see how that affects their performance. Aston Martin have made no changes to development. Red Bull have lost a percentage in power, and that's the gamble with these tokens. McLaren, there is no change. At Williams, they've gone up a % in power, and we saw a great performance from Shadow Rider and his teammate Jimon Wise, I want to say, last week's round. So plus % power for them is a massive boost. Alpine also seeing a percentage in power, which IR Graham, I mean, he doesn't need much more, but that will play lovely into his hands. And then Mercedes have made no change. So this week's tyre choices, the randomator has come out with mediums and hards. Only mediums and hards can be used, and they both must be used in the course of 150 miles, which here at Lago Maggiore equals, I've got it somewhere, where the jeepers is it? 42 laps here. So we have got one very interesting race. Let's see if we can quickly get through the table before we run out of time. In the chat, Jokus says good evening. Mika Wivery says it's on Discord. And Dodge Game says go in Tulu. Have a good race, mate. Bora com los Caragol. So the championship as it stands so far. Matt Psycho at the top of the table. On 51 points. Alexis Maximus second on 42 points. Stevie Styler in third on 36 points. In Tulu in fourth on 30 points. Skyjacker is in fifth on 24 points. IR Graham is sixth on 23 points. Shadow Rider is seventh, also on 23 points. Kale is eighth on 16 points. Jam is ninth on 14 points. Darren Salmon is 10th on 13 points. 11th is Jimon Wise on 12 points. Noxie is 12th on 8 points. Katula is 13th on 7 points. And Jokus is 14th on 3 points. and reserve was Racer Brown, but Dutch has stepped in, so we'll see him added to the table next week. Right, no qualifying, it's done reverse of the championship, and that is, as stands, look at me, Catula will be on pole with Noxie in second, Jim on Wise in third, Darren Salmon in fourth, Jam in fifth, sixth is Kale, Shadow Rider is seventh, eighth is Skyjacker, ninth is Intulo, 10th is Stevie Styler, Alexis Maximus is 11th, 12th is IR Graham, 13th is Matt Psycho, and 14th is Dutch. Now I know IR Graham, being 12th on the grid, seems out of place from his championship standings, but it's done on their average finishers, and his average finish is first, I think. So he still has a better average finish than, say, Alexis Maximus. That is everything. I think I've hit everything there. Boom, boom, boom. I want you in my room. I did it. I've done the Constructors' Championship. I've done the Drivers' Championship. I've done the grid. I've told you it's medium and hard tyres this week. I've told you the token spends. Yes, it says on was it in the FX chat that people were saying what they used then? How many tokens they used? I thought it was going to be sort of like a bit like you don't know who's got what tokens and when they're going to, you know, when they're going to splash them out. I must have missed it. I see token spending explained. Or was that it? This video will explain about the token spending. Well, it's on YouTube, so you can giddy on over to Jam Huntington's YouTube page. I think there's a small video. I should have watched that before I come on air. I honestly, I just saw that I saw who had what and thought, well, that's cool, keeping it secret so no one knows who's done what. So we've covered everything. So the Ferraris, although not winning a race so far yet this season, are doing a great job. Great teamwork between the two of them. And they've been finishing consistently 4th and 5th, I think, in both races. So beautiful stuff there. And there we see them both at the going around, 1st and 2nd, but it says Kale's got the fastest with a 1:31.315. And I think McLaren did get a boost, didn't it? We did say McLaren got a 1% engine boost for this race. Let's have a look. No, McLaren is no change. No change at McLaren at all. So Kale doing a great job with a 1:31.3. Now the medium and the hards, I don't know what the difference between the times are, but they're not usually that good. Shadow Rider. Williams got that 1% boost in power. That's going to help a lot. Catula there in 4th in the Mercedes. Jam's asking if everyone's ready. Ready or not, here I come. God, I've got a singing head on, haven't I? There's 2 songs I've burst into. I haven't sung for ages in one of these. Don't know what's going on. Small Y. I've gone back to the small Y. I've been yeeting it and then capital Y in it. I've gone back to the small Y. Good to go, says Dutch. Everyone else is going on with Alexis Maximus has gone with a yees. So there's Catula in the Merc. I'm just going to try and give you a rundown of who's. Stevie Styler, whoosh, is in the Ferrari. Intula also in the Ferrari. Then we have a Shadow Rider in the Williams. Cthulhu in the Mercedes. Skyjacker. Oh no, that's not Skyjacker. That's Skyjacker in a McLaren. Oh, and other people are going to the pits. Alexis Maximus just going. Well, Stevie Styler's fastest. But there's Alexis Maximus in the Red Bull with his teammate Dutch. His new race. He's got to start from the back. Like I said, in at the deep end, you can't have high expectations. These guys have got used to these cars over 2 rounds. 150-mile races that we run. Catula on pole, Noxie in 2nd, Jim on Wise 3rd, Darren Salmon 4th, Jam in 5th. Let me... Oh, have they got rid of the numbers? Something doesn't look right there. There we go. No big numbers. I guess not. We're waiting for the lights. Seems awfully quiet. There they go. They're off. I like a flash. There you can see Catula leading the way from Noxie in his Alpine. And we got Jim Wise in the Williams under attack from Darren Salmon in the Mercedes. Oh no, looks like Jim Wise off in the first corner. Cthulhu making a good getaway on those medium tyres. There's Noxie in second, Darren Salmon in the second Merc. They need some points on the board, but he's had a little nudge with Skyjacker. Skyjacker up into third place now for McLaren. Shadow Rider in fourth for Williams, but it looks like Matt Psycho's just got nipped underneath him. No. Nat Psycho on the hard tyres trying to make hay. I.R. Graham up into sixth already. God, it's all moving around. Jam down to seventh with Jim Wise eighth. We saw him having to recover. Kale, I pressed the wrong button there. Sorry, Kale in ninth. Stevie Styler in 10th in the Ferrari. Ferrari's quite far down. Alexis Maximus also in the Red Dwarf in a fight of their own. There we can see Dutch in the second Red Bull. I think I could just call it a Red Dwarf, I'm not sure. And there is Darren Salmon in the second Merc in 14th. So leading the race is Cthulhu against Noxie by 1.3 seconds. Skyjacker in third place, 2.5 seconds behind Noxie, only 2/10 ahead of Shadow Rider. That Williams with the little power boost, giving the McLaren something to think about in this early stage of the race. I think all them guys were on mediums. Yes, top three on mediums. Shadow Rider trying to make a move around the outside. I.R. Graham getting ever closer to that battle between Shadow Rider and Skyjacker. Great stuff there. And there is I.R. Graham in the Alpine chasing them down. Matt Psycho in the Aston Martin a little bit further back with Jim Wise in the second Williams, trying to keep Kale at bay. Kale trying to find a way up. Kale's out run the corner. He's back on ahead of Stevie Styler down in 9th now. Jam is in 10th, but he's got the second Ferrari in Tulu all over the back of him. Jam struggling. Is Jam on the hard tyre? Do we guess? No, he's on the medium tyre. He's just not enjoying this track at the moment. Into looking like he was trying to make a move up the inside. This is crazy racing. Alexis Maximus just sitting behind these guys. Sat on board with Alexis Maximus in 11th place at the moment. This is some crazy racing down here. We can see ahead of us with the Ferraris and the Aston Martin. It's peculiar doing this track in reverse. You don't often see it come up that way. Oof. I don't even barely recognise it. You can see some movement up there. Jim Wise down into 9th. Oh my God, the Williams off the road, back on in front of Alexis Maximus. Alexis Maximus trying to avoid. You see in Tulu struggling in that corner now. Oh my God, it's all going off all around here. It's a very fast track, very, very fast. They're on lap 2 already. Let's get out of the car and let's have a look around. So Cthulhu's still leading the way by nearly 2 seconds from Noxie. He's got 1.7 seconds on Skyjacker. Skyjacker is less than a second behind I.R. Graham, and Matt Psycho's coming as well. These two are the heavy hitters in this championship so far. And there we can see Kale in 6th place ahead of Jam. Jam got ahead of Stevie Styler. Has this weight really cost the Ferraris? 8th and 9th for Intulu and Stevie Styler, with Alexis Maximus in 10th. Oh, looks like someone's dropped. Who's dropped? Stevie Styler. Stevie Styler's down to 11th. Oh no, Stevie Styler's lost the back end. Or something, I don't know. Let's have a look. I don't think we can catch these things usually. So there we can see Stevie Styler in 8th. This is a replay, and oh, he's just gone a little bit wide onto the grass. Poor Stevie. The Ferrari's doing so well in the manufacturers as well. Cthulhu cruising away, 2.4 seconds now. The Mercedes made no changes to their development. Noxie, the Alpine, I think that got a +1. I'm trying to open my phone to check, sorry, but I think the Alpine's got a +1. I should have written it on a bit of paper instead of, let's have a look. Alpines, yeah, +1% power. So the Alpine's getting a little bit of help. Skyjacker in the McLaren, chasing down, only 1.4 seconds behind Noxie. I.R. Graham only half a second now behind Skyjacker. He's on the hard tyres. Skyjacker on the medium. Skyjacker's got the fastest lap of the race so far though, 1:33.2 ahead of I.R. Graham, who is on the hard tyres. He's pulled 3 seconds out on Matt Psycho, also on the hard tyres, with Kale on the mediums all over the back of Matt Psycho, trying to make a move around here at Lago Maggiore. In the chat we have Flashman saying evening all. Luis Silva saying in Tulu, go, you are good. Alan Sykes saying, evening guys, go Matt. And Racer Brown says, hello all. So we're watching Cale now, the South African, go up against Matt Psycho. Matt Psycho's struggling in that Aston Martin. He's got the hard tyres on, and there, do we see Cale making the move? No, Matt Psycho's back at him. This is crazy stuff. It looks like Cale's got the better line going into the hairpin. He's going to just edge ahead of Matt Psycho up into 5th place. Great day for McLaren. Great race so far. But remember, Matt Psycho's getting the hard compound out the way early, and he looks like he's coming back at Cale now. Matt Psycho throwing everything he's got in this Aston Martin with the hard tyres. Catula still leading from Noxie. Skyjacker in 3rd. IR Graham in 4th. Cale now up into 5th. Matt Psycho in 6th. Jam in 7th with Intulu in 8th place. We'll go down the field in just 2 seconds. It looks like Cale now managing to get the better grip tyre to pull away. Excuse me. So we can have a good look, really. So the medium tyres in Toulouse, a 33.4. Noxie doing a 34.2 on his mediums. Skyjacker, the 33.2. He did have the best lap, but Shadow Rider has now got that. IR Graham on the hard tyres. He's managed a 33.2. So really, on them hard tyres, he's on the same pace as the medium tyres. 33.3 from Cale. Matt Psycho's best at 34.5 on those hard tyres. Oh no, someone's off. Who is that, Cale? Cale off the track, it looked like. And Matt Psycho catching him. He's off again. He's off the track again. Dirty tyres. He's struggling to keep that McLaren stuck to the road in the corners, and now Matt Psycho's caught him right back up. Jammed down in 7th in the 2nd Aston Martin, being chased by Intulu in 8th place. The Red Bull of Alexis Maximus in 9th with 10th place. Williams, Jim Wise ahead of Stevie Styler in 11th, and Shadow Rider down in 12th. He's got a bit of damage on the front of that car. He's got the fastest lap, but it looks like he's had a big off in this last lap. Darren Salmon in 13th on the medium tyres, and Dutch, oh dear, looks like we've just caught Dutch at a bad moment on those medium tyres. He's knocked the front wing a little bit, and now he's damaged his car slightly, down in 14th. He's got a big learning curve to get used to these Red Bulls. I mean, a lot of these guys took part in the Red Bull Junior Series we ran before Christmas, so they got the taste of the car before going up to the Red Bull Standard. Catula at the moment doing everything right. Absolutely correct manoeuvres from Catula, leading the race on lap 5. His fastest lap was a 33.4, but they've all been in the 33s by lap 5. It was only just in the 34s. So Catula in the Mercedes are running a great race. I'll have one of them. Whoosh, Catula. Hey, he's gone to VRC Catula. I've only just noticed that. He's always been RRL Catula, and he's VRC Catula. You go, Catula. Fantastic. Yeah, that's brilliant. Excellent stuff. Oh, wow. It's just like huge praise. Someone putting the Virtual Racing Club in their name. Thank you very much. There's Noxie in 2nd spot. Looks like IR Graham only a 2nd behind. He's got past Skyjacker. We've missed that, I apologise, but IR Graham clawing his way up into 3rd on those hard tyres. He's barely used. They're down to about half a tank. They have changed the tyre. It was times 12, but they brought it back to times 8. The admin, I think, found that the tyres were just wearing too quickly, even though then this week it got, but they've always had the super softs and softs, or super softs and mediums in the 1st round, and I think it was the super softs and softs in the 2nd round, but we've had medium and hards in this round. The grip level must be virtually nothing out there, the same for everyone, I know. But here we can see IR Graham catching up Noxie. He's just got to soak up the pressure. They are teammates, so you imagine maybe they'll orchestrate. Very neat overtake. And Noxie will then be rear gunner for IR Graham from Skyjacker, who's chasing them down. He's there in 4th, in 5th, the other McLaren, Cale. Looks like the first pit stop of the Ferraris in Toulouse coming in. He's put a new set of mediums on, no fuel, straight back out again. He's come out behind Jim Wise in the Williams. It's great stuff there. Got his pit stop out of the way. Got some nice fresh rubber on. He's ahead of his teammate, Stevie Styler, in 11th. He's starting to get through his tyres. What was that on lap 7 then? The first of the pit stops into Cthulhu, leading Fernando in the Mercedes. Who'd have thought? Hey, look at him. He's out there. Whoa, he's made a small mistake. He's not made many mistakes this evening. Noxie has somehow pulled a little bit away. Oh dear. Cthulhu really has messed up, because now Noxie is all over the back of him. Cameras look like they're shaking. I don't know if we're having a bit of an internet issue or not, but all the cars just look like they were shaking a bit. Cthulhu only just staying there. Io Graham, it looks like that was very neatly done between the two Alpine drivers. Skyjacker looking like he can try and slip one up the inside of Noxie, and he certainly does. I have Noxie's tyres totally gone. He's struggling, he's gone down from, but Cthulhu has gone into the pits. His grip, it's the grip. Them mediums are starting to go. Matt Psycho's decided to get rid of his hard tyres. Io Graham continuing on his hard tyres. He's getting great lap times out of those bad boys. Skyjacker decided to continue, but his medium tyres don't look as worn as some of the other guys out there. Noxie in 3rd place, staying out there. Lost a couple of spots then. And I think it's lack of grip. Kale in 4th. In the 2nd McLaren, there comes Cthulhu. He's come back out in 5th place. He's tried the hard tyres. He's gone for the hard tyres. Jam up into 6th. Matt Psycho's come out in 7th on the medium tyres now. Alexis Maximus up into 8th, still on the same tyres, starting to do his fastest lap times. On lap 6, Jim One Wise in 9th, only just ahead of Intulu. We saw Intulu had pitted. Jim One Wise really does look after a set of tyres. I don't think he's pitted, but he can look after those tyres and go long into the race. But it looks like Intulu now getting ahead of the Williams, but has he? Because it looks like Jim One Wise has got the inside line. No, Intulu has made it through. Well done, Intulu. Fantastic drive. Fantastic overtake there. Jim One Wise on them medium used tyres. Shadow Rider in 11th. The Williams not looking great again. They've got that 1% power boost, but it might have made the car somewhat unstable because they're struggling around here at Lago Maggiore. Io Graham coming into the pits to get rid of those hard tyres. Oh no, Skyjacker. Skyjacker looks like I don't know if he hit the pit wall, and now it won't let him go into the pits. He's got to go around. Oh, the last thing Skyjacker needs. Oh, we can't watch that. Kale going around. He's taken the lead of this race. Io Graham's come back out, and there's Cthulhu. Cthulhu just whipping past Io Graham to regain that 2nd place. We know Kale still has to pit, so Cthulhu only just staying ahead of Io Graham. As Io Graham came out of the pits, we saw Cthulhu just whipping around that corner. That was great stuff, and now we've got Io Graham coming back at Cthulhu. Io Graham on the medium tyres, Cthulhu is on the hard tyres, so he is at a deficit with grip. This is crazy driving from these pair. That was fantastic stuff. Amazing. So Io Graham on the medium tyres, maintained a bit above. Dutch has just left the room. I'm not sure if he had internet issues or Red Bull standard issues, but he's not there now. So in 3rd place, Cthulhu throwing it out wide with the lack of grip there. Matt Psycho up into 4th now on the medium tyres, catching up Cthulhu, who's on the hard tyres. Keep your head, Cthulhu. He's gone. He's followed Cthulhu off wide. Cthulhu has moved over off the track racing line to let Matt Psycho through, and now Matt Psycho is chasing down Io Graham. Cthulhu just trying to do his run on his hard tyres, keep his head together and hope the other guys come to him. So Noxie in 5th place. He's pitted. He's put the medium tyres on, and he's out ahead of Intulu. Look at Intulu with the early pit stop up into 6th now, ahead of Jim One Wise in 7th. Has he made a pit stop? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if they're still the same tyres. He really can look after a set of tyres. Stevie Styler up into 8th. He's only just made a pit. Oh no, he must have done somewhere. So his tyres look barely used as well. He's got the fastest lap of the race, so maybe they're starting to get used to those developments. +2 on power and +3 on weight. Going up the hill though, you can see the Aston Martin just swallows him up. Oh, a little tap from behind. and Jam keeps it under control, and they just continue along their way. But yes, it looks like the Ferrari is wounded up the hill, because Jam just came straight up and past him. Going down the hill though, the Ferrari's back in control. So great stuff there. Further back in the field between Stevie Styler and Jam racing each other. Darren Salmon in 10th. He's put the hard tyres on now, but he's having a great run. When did he pit? Don't know, lap 3 maybe, or just had a bad lap 3. Maybe he started on the hard tyres. He's continued on in 10th. Alexis Maximus in 11th. He's made a pit and he's gone out on the medium tyres in 11th ahead of Shadow Rider. Shadow Rider got a bit of damage at the back. Doesn't look like he's enjoying this track at all. And Skyjacker is in 13th. We saw he was having issues. He's been in and he's not changed his tyres, it looks like. It says out lap. IR Graham retaking the lead while Kel comes in to change his tyres. So IR Graham, Cthulhu managing to get past. Matt Psycho moving up into 3rd place with Noxie into 4th. Intulu, can he get up ahead of the McLaren? No, the McLaren is out ahead of Noxie and Intulu. Intulu trying his hardest to get past the Alpine driver. Can he find a way in the chat? We have Mika Wivery saying can't pit if you crash on entry. Got to go round again. Mika Wivery says it resets you past the entry. SRT Dodge Games says Intulu Papa Tudu. So great stuff there. Amazing. Whew. Take a breath. So Intulu in 6th, chasing down Noxie, 7/10 behind. Noxie only just behind Kale. What tyres did Kale put on? He put on the hard tyres. So Kale going for a hard run now. It's going for a long run, it seems. Skyjacker can't pit, so he's going to retire. Well, that's a shame. That's a gutting shame. I wonder how that's come about then. So IR Graham leading the way by 8 seconds from Matt Psycho. Matt Psycho on the medium tyres, and so is IR Graham. IR Graham's just done a 31.346 and taken the fastest lap time of this race. We're on lap 11 of 42. Matt Psycho some 8.5 seconds behind him. Racer Brown says it's a glitch in the game. Poor Skyjacker, that's not fair. There we see in 3rd, Cthulhu still clinging on to the back of Matt Psycho on those hard tyres. 34.0 to Matt Psycho's 31.2. Oh, there is a deficit, isn't there? There is quite a big jump. You can do 31s on the mediums and 34s, it seems, on the hard tyre. So Noxie down. No, Noxie in 4th though, still ahead of Intulu. I think the weight in that Ferrari, it struggles when it goes up the hill. Kale back in 6th, but he's put the hard tyre on. Head down for a nice long run in 7th. The Ferrari of Stevie Styler, his fuel is virtually out now though. He'll have to come in and pit. I don't know if he's pitted so far this race, so he's up 7th. Jam in 8th. Looks like he pitted on lap 8. Darren Salmon in 9th, with Alexis Maximus in 10th place there for Red Bull. Jim Wise in the Williams in 11th, and Shadow Rider in 12th for the 2nd Williams car. So Skyjacker says, I am bloody livid in the chat. I imagine you are having a great race. Absolutely corker of a race up until the minute the pits glitch happened. So IR Graham coming around again, and Mika Wivery says if you crash entering the pit and you get reset, if you try to pit straight away it glitches and you can't pit for the rest of the race. Well, that's silly, absolutely ridiculous. If you don't try to pit after the reset, you can pit next lap. Well, that's good to know for anyone out there if that ever happens. It shouldn't, but it does. These are the way. Matt Psycho now has taken the fastest lap. He's only 8.2 seconds behind IR Graham. It's a tight battle here. IR Graham doing 31 deads. Matt Psycho in a 30.7. So 0.3 faster than IR Graham at that point. Can we remember Alpine got a +1 in the power? And what did Aston Martin get? Aston Martin is no change. They're no change. So Matt Psycho having a bloody good go at it, chasing down IR Graham. Cthulhu the leader before in third. Oh, his fuel's running out, but he's gutted he didn't put some fuel in. It looks like his tyres could carry on. He's doing a 33.7, so he's getting faster on those hard tyres. Noxie in fourth. He's still on the medium tyres. He's just done a 33.0. His fastest. He's got half a tank of fuel, so he could jump Cthulhu in this next pit, because I think Cthulhu will have to pit at the end of this lap. So Ntulu in fifth, doing great job for Ferrari, absolutely amazing job. He also needs to pit at the end of this lap with Kale just behind, 2.5 seconds in the McLaren, in sixth place, only just ahead of Jam. Jam looking racy today. He was down earlier, but he's got himself through the field and up into seventh. So there is Cthulhu's pit stop. So there we see Noxie moving back into third place. Ntulu also coming in. Ntulu also coming in. Can Kale for McLaren get himself up into fourth place? It says fifth for Jam as well. Ntulu, Cthulhu and Darren Salmon all taking pit stops. Alexis Maximus on a spin. Oh, has he done the same thing as he tried to come into the pits and crashed? Oh, we hope not. He's going around again. We will see. Oh, we're really having a problem with the pit glitch today here at Lago Maggiore. The opposite way round. If that is the case for Alexis Maximus as well, that looked exactly the same as what we saw with Skyjacker. So this is going to be a race of attrition. Half of the field's not going to be able to finish. We're 14 laps in. IR Graham leading the way, but only 7.1 seconds. Matt Psycho has pulled nearly a second in, but now Matt Psycho's fuel is going. I'm really nervous about the fuel stops now. Really, really nervous. Nick Weary says if you don't try it. Louis Silver in the chat says Portuguese Papa, Tudo, Ingles, Pup, everything. Skyjacker says best race I've had all season. Some stupid glitch does me. Nick Weary says a glitch ruined on one of my Max 5 races too. Mick Weaver says pit entry is really tight on the reverse layout. Skyjacker, it's just another issue with reverse tracks. Maybe. We've seen Matt Psycho's got it into the pits. Matt Psycho into the pits. Noxie, how far away is he? He's somewhere, I don't know. It depends on how much fuel Matt Psycho decides to put in. He's coming back out. There goes Noxie. Matt Psycho, he's out. No, he's not. Noxie up into second spot. Great race from Noxie, really. We thought we miscounted Noxie. There is the other Alpine driver. He needs to come into the pits. He's low on fuel up at the lead there. Then Noxie in second. Noxie's jumped Cthulhu. Matt Psycho there in third place, but Matt Psycho on the medium tyres, half tank of fuel. He's chasing down the Alpine driver now. Doesn't want them catching too many points there in first and second. And there he goes, around the outside. Matt Psycho back up into second spot with the more grippier tyre. Then Kale in fourth place. Cthulhu's quite dropped out of this on them hard tyres. Kale in fourth. He's on the hard tyre himself now. He's only just ahead of Jam by 0.8 of a second. The view from Jam's car is looking very rosy. Gulping down my latte while I can. Hoo-wee. Noxie been racing out his skin all race, says Mika Wivery. Yes, IR Graham into the pits. IR Graham is into the pits. So Matt Psycho up into second. Noxie in third. How far behind? I think IR Graham might be able to get back out ahead of these guys. It's looking quite... Oh, I don't know. There comes Matt Psycho coming around the last corner now. But IR Graham back out. He's back out on track, and Matt Psycho in second spot. He's 8.3 seconds behind. He's lost about a second on IR Graham through. No, he's back down to 7 seconds. That was about the gap before they pitted. So cracking stuff, less than 7 seconds. So Matt Psycho really on a big push now for IR Graham. IR Graham getting used to a cold set of tyres again. Noxie in third, only 2.5 seconds behind Matt Psycho. We've got Alpine versus Aston Martin versus Alpine. Then we've got McLaren in fourth place, only 3.2 seconds behind these guys. We've had 24 minutes of racing. We're on lap 16 here for round 3 of the Formula X Championship. And what a corker it has been as well. Jam for the second Aston Martin up into 5th place. Great points for the Aston Martin and Alpine boys. Cthulhu there in 6th. The Mercedes yet to kick their season started off, and this is doing it for them. In 6th, 7th for Jim Wise in the Williams. Then we've got Stevie Styler in 8th for... Where's Intulu gone? We've got 8th for Stevie Styler. Then Darren Salmon in 9th. And 10th we've got Intulu. Intulu must have recently pitted. Oh, it doesn't look like that last lap was a good lap. A 1:45.9. I don't know what happened. But Intulu not having a great lap the last time around. Shadow Rider in 11th, not having a great race. He's done a 32.239. He's had those medium tyres on for a while. Since lap 8, he'll be ready to change them soon. And Alexis and Maximus, it looks like he has managed to get into the pits and put the hard tyres on. So that is lucky, but I think he also must have had a bit of a pit crash. It's put him 16 seconds behind Shadow Rider. So this is going to hurt Red Bull with one of the Red Bulls DNFing. Kale coming into the pits. Kale is into the pits now. He's back out again. That was a quick one. He's put medium tyres on and tanked up. He's tanked up now to go long. He's going to go for the long run. Intulu up into 10th place now. We can see Shadow Rider into the pits in 11th. That's not going to help Alexis Maximus too much, as he's quite far behind him. I think Shadow Rider will get back out the pits before Alexis Maximus reaches him. So IR Graham are leading the way, 6.5 seconds ahead of Matt Psycho. Matt Psycho's lap times are 1:30.5 the last time around, a 1:31.8 for IR Graham. That was his out lap though. They're both on medium tyres, both similar fuels and similar pit strategies. Noxie in 3rd, 6.4 seconds behind Matt Psycho. Done his best lap the last time round with a 32.824. He's really low on fuel, and Jam is also low on fuel. So it's going to be a battle of the Aston Martin and Alpine pit crew. Catula on the medium tyres, so he's got rid of his hards. When did he go in? On lap 13, and he's doing steady 32s. There goes Noxie in. Soon we'll see Jam coming in as well. How far behind is Catula? Not that far behind, so Catula back up into a podium position. Great move from Catula there. Fernando seeing Mercedes in the podium position. It's great stuff in our championship. They haven't featured much so far. Jim on Wise for Williams. Can he get up there? No, it looks like Jam is out in 4th, but he's had to put some hard tyres on. Jim on Wise, Jim on Wise will be pitting the next time round, but he is on medium tyres. He should catch up Jam pretty damn quickly. On board with Jim on Wise right now, as we're chasing down the cold, hard tyres of Jam, and see what we can do from this point on. Oh God, there's a lot of chat. I'll get on it in a minute. So Jam, there was Jam being quite defensive going into the hairpin, but Jim on Wise a little bit too far behind, but he's only got Noxie just behind him. Noxie came out of the pits just behind Jim on Wise, and he has got the medium tyres on. Jim on Wise has got a bit of old mediums and no fuel. And Jam there up into 4th place on the hard tyre with a compound though. So Noxie will be hunting him down. Darren Salmon is out there on the medium tyres. He's 7.5 seconds behind Noxie. Kale on the medium tyres, and now he's 1.9 seconds behind the Mercedes driver. So great stuff there. Great battle bubbling. Intulu in 9th place. These Ferraris, they seem to be getting up there at the end of their strategy, but then having to pit. Stevie Styler down into 10th. He's 9.7 seconds behind his teammate. Shadow Rider, it looks like he did get out the pits again before Alexis Maximus, and Alexis Maximus we saw spinning on the start straight earlier on. He's getting his hard compound out of the way. So in the chat, before I lose it all, here we go. Where was I up to? Pit entrances. Mika says Noxie's been racing skin off. Mika says Skyjacker, totally agreed, dislike reverse layout. Skyjacker says the fact it puts you a lap down every time is what done me. Lesson learned for next time, I suppose. Mika Woodbury also says it glitches and thinks you are always on the same lap, so won't let you pit. And Mika Woodbury always says been like that for as long as I can remember. So up together with the chat, but I think that's just Skyjacker and Mika having a chat amongst themselves, but I will share it with you. If you're watching it later on, you keep seeing comments popping up in the corner and think, what's going on there? Oh my lord, look at this, Matt Psycho. He's cut the deficit, something crazy. And it looks like IR Graham had an awful lap the last lap round, a 35.3, and now Matt Psycho is there. He's in touching distance, only 8 tenths behind the Maestro IR Graham. the super alien, Matt Psycho. Only less than a second behind now. These two are on a similar strategy. Catula some 20 seconds behind these guys. Lost a bit of time on his hard compound run, where these two got their hard compound out the way early, whilst on heavy tanks, so everyone was quite sluggish, and they made that strategy work great for them. And now the Alpine versus the Aston Martin in our Formula X at round 3 here at Virtual Racers Club. We are seeing a great fight bubbling between the two leaders. Catula 8 seconds ahead of Jam. Intula now into the pits, giving Kale 7th. Jim Wise moving up into 8th place. Stevie Styler moving ahead of his teammate temporarily, but his fuel is low as well. And there comes the second Ferrari driver back out onto the track, some 5 seconds ahead of Shadow Rider. Shadow Rider struggling today. He's done a 31.5 on his last time around though, so he's got the pace. And Alexis Maximus we saw having struggles earlier in the race. So IR Graham now under immense pressure, coming to lap 21, halfway through this race at 31 minutes. And Matt Psycho is applying the pressure very much so. Though IR Graham has made his fuel last a little bit better than Matt Psycho. Matt Psycho, fuel started flashing. It looks like IR Graham might be able to stay out an extra lap from the Aston Martin. Catulu coming across there in thirds, some 7 seconds ahead of Jam. Jam with a quarter of a tank of fuel. He's done his hard run. He stayed ahead of Noxie. Very surprised. I thought Noxie was going to rock up to the back of Jam, but Noxie did put a lot more fuel in, as you can see. So Noxie driving with a heavier car than Jam. He's put the hard tyres on, but he's kept the fuel low. Try and keep the speed down. He did a 33.0 on his last time around, a 33.2 the lap before. Noxie's laps, a 33.3 and a 33.5, so they've maintained a similar pace. Darren Salmon on the medium tyres. His fuel's just started flashing. He's there in 6th. The other Mercedes in 3rd. Great day for Mercedes if they can make this happen. Kale, we saw he was up there earlier. His fastest lap was the 31.9 he just done on lap 19. He's on the medium tyres. He's got a bit of fuel on, and I think he might come into play later in the race. Jim Wise in 8th with Intulu in 9th. Shadow Rider. Oh, Matt Psycho did need to go into the pits. He has gone in. IR Graham's taking that extra lap. Will we see an undercut? Will there be some sort of undercut happening here? Can Catula get round? No, Catula way too far back from these guys now. And Catula himself needing to come into the pits. Jam's on the hard tyre. He's still got a lap or 2 of fuel left in that car. There goes Catula. Catula in. Matt Psycho is back out. He's 16.6 seconds behind IR Graham. IR Graham's fuel still not flashing yet. Catula has come into the pits. So Jam is up into 3rd place now. He did decide to stay out and go longer. And Noxie up into 4th. Noxie can still carry on for a long time yet, where Jam will have to pit in the next lap or 2. Kale up into 5th on the medium tyres. Got a fair bit of fuel. There's Catula. He's come back out. Half a tank of fuel. Medium tyres behind Kale in 6th place. Darren Salmon in 7th. Looking good, but wow, Jim Wise coming flying. Where did Jim Wise come from? Look at him, straight past Darren Salmon. Darren Salmon like he was stood still. I don't know what happened there, but Jim Wise on absolutely flying around that corner. Just flew past. Don't know what happened there. Darren Salmon down to 8th then in the Mercedes. The fuel's pretty same, the tyres are pretty similar. So I'm not sure there, but it looks like now Darren Sam's coming back. IR Graham has come in. He only went that 1 extra lap. What can Matt Psycho do on his out lap? In his half tank fuel, Ira Graham just has to short fill it a little bit to beat Matt Psycho. So Ira Graham still stationary. Says Matt Psycho's ahead. He's moving now. Where are they going to be on the track? Ira Graham, it says it's still in first place. There is Matt Psycho. He's only just behind him. He's coming up in behind him up the hill. It's very close. My word, there's Ira Graham. He's maintained that lead then. And there we see Jam has come in and Noxie carrying on round because he's got plenty of fuel and loads of grip left on those tyres. So IR Graham leading, but only just by half a second. Matt Psycho in second place with Noxie in third, 20 seconds behind these guys. Kale is up into fourth place now with half a tank of fuel. And there is Katula, also half a tank of fuel, medium tyres. We're on lap 23 of 42. Jam coming out of the pits ahead of Jim 1Wise, who we saw flying past Darren Salmon earlier. We know the Williams has been given a plus 1% power boost, so maybe that was enough down the hill to jump Darren Salmon the way he did. Shadow Rider now ahead. Wow, it looked like he was right at the back, but he's jumped the Ferraris somehow. Looks like Intulu has recently pitted though. Shadow Rider's tyres not too bad though. So I don't know, down here Intulu in 10th, Stevie Styler in 11th. That plus 3 weight really hurting the Ferraris, it seems. Further down the field, a 32.3 from Stevie Styler on the medium tyres. Alexis Maximus still on his hard compounds. He's quite a way off of the rest of the field, but we saw he had a massive spin, I think, trying to get into the pit lane. So, oh my God, what's going on? Matt Psycho in second. I thought they swapped over just then, but it's a second apart. Graham then managing to pull a little bit of time out on Matt Psycho on his outlap. Whew. Gosh. So, in the chat, Mick Wivery says, so proud of my boys doing great work out there. Yes, Mika Wivery, team principal of Alpine, and she's got 2 podium positions at the moment. Possibly. Great job from Noxie and IR Graham. Matt Psycho, the Aston Martin, filling in the Alpine sandwich. Then we've got a McLaren in a 4th place. Mercedes in 5th place. Keep it on the tracks there, Cthulhu. Because he should be on 3rd after everyone pits, but from this angle, I mean, Noxie, he's got just over a quarter of a tank of fuel. His tyres still look pretty good. He's doing quite competitive lap times. Kale, his tyres look a little bit more worn than Noxie's. He's got more fuel, and he's doing a similar pace. Cthulhu in 5th. Brand new tyres, because he's only just pitted. Just under half a tank of fuel. His last lap was a 35, though. That might be the weight of the fuel. Jam, he's just pitted, put mediums on. 3/4 of a tank of fuel. We're on lap 24 of 42. I don't think that's going to take him all the way. But Jam only 5 seconds behind the Mercedes. The other Aston Martin in 7th. We've got Jim 1Wise, the top Williams driver there. Getting some great points for the Williams team. Darren Salmon in 8th for the second Mercedes. In 9th, the second Williams. In 10th, the Ferrari of Intulu ahead of his teammate Alexis Maximus, and I don't know if this is a pit stop or a DNF. Wouldn't be surprised. We'll have to wait and see. So IR Graham leading from Matt Psycho, but it's less than a second again. Matt Psycho on another attack of IR Graham, but IR Graham managing to save fuel better than Matt Psycho. Matt Psycho's got the fastest lap of a 1:30.546. In 3rd is Noxie in the second Alpine. I bet the real team would take this next season if this was the way it looked. It must be that livery that makes them so fast. Open up a can of Red Bull. In 4th, there we see Kale doing it for McLaren after the other McLaren couldn't enter the pits and had to DNF. So McLaren not picking up good points, and oh my God, Skyjacker was there fighting for a podium earlier in the race on a good strategy, it seemed, on a similar strategy, and there goes Alexis Maximus. So no points for Red Bull in this race. Red Bull totally losing out. So IR Graham, Alpine, this is going to do great for them in their championship manufacturers. a double podium if that's the way it's going to stay out. But Cale also fancies that final podium step, I imagine. Katoula also thinking he's got his name on it. And he's caught Cale up no end, hasn't he? His tyre's looking a little bit fresher than Cale's. Sat on board with Fernando Katoula. VRC, did you notice, Skyjacker? I don't know if you're watching anymore. Did you notice he changed his name to VRC Katoula? That's awesome. I hadn't noticed. It's brilliant. It took me a couple of laps. Oh my God, Cale off the track. Cale off the track. Katoula catching him up even more. Katoula be smiling. Little smile on his name. On his name. Still obsessed with his username. Look at me. Just to write Shufty on it. I don't know. Just seems really nice. They put our name, put the club in their username. And now he is all up in Cale's business. Cale's grip almost minimal now. We saw him going wide in that corner. And Katoula moving up into 4th place. Whoa, I don't know. Cale looked like he was pinging. Oh, he did as well. I don't know. That'd be one for the stewards, I suppose, to look into. Cale down into 6th place. He's got damage on the front of the car. Oh, that's such a shame because it was looking like a lovely move. Katoula carrying on. Oh, it happened so quick. It was all pingy. I don't know if it was lag, if it was the actual move or what. But Katoula in a 4th place for Mercedes. Jam up into 5th. Cale now down into 6th. Still struggling with that front wing. Now it's gone. He can carry on. I imagine he'll want to pit. There comes Noxie. Noxie in to the pits now. Katoula carrying around. He's got a quarter of a tank of fuel. He'll be moving up into a 3rd place with Jam not very far behind Katoula. Only less than a second. We could have a double Aston Martin podium. We were saying it's a double Alpine podium, but the 2 Aston Martins are not out of the running just yet. I.R. Graham still under immense pressure from Matt Psycho. Matt Psycho using the track and then some to try and catch up. The Alpine driver of I.R. Graham is 1.2 seconds. Almost forgot about these two having the race of their lives up at the front. They'll be gutted when they come to watch this back and they're barely seen because I've been going around the field and watching all the other stuff. But there we see I.R. Graham only 1.5 seconds ahead of Matt Psycho. I.R. Graham's last lap at 31.680 with Matt Psycho's at 31.1. So Matt Psycho a little bit faster than I.R. Graham at this point in the race. But now Matt Psycho will be needing a pit after this lap with I.R. Graham. Still got a good couple of laps to go. So Mika Wivery saying going to come down to pit strategy by the looks of it. It's tight. It is definitely tight, says Mika Wivery said. The pit strategy in the comments, sorry. It does look like it's going to be tight. 1.6 seconds ahead of Matt Psycho. Matt Psycho has got to come into the pits. There is Katoula up into 3rd place. He's 40 seconds behind that battle. But the 2nd Aston Martin closing in. He's got loads of fuel. He's going to go longer. He can go longer than Katoula. Can Jam? Jam can stay out for longer than Katoula and will take up that 3rd place. What a move around. Cale in 5th. He's not come in. We thought his grip had gone, and that's how Katoula had made the move. Darren Salmon up into 6th, medium tyres. He's got not a lot of fuel left. There is Noxie after his pit stop. He has really tanked up. Really tanked up on that fuel. Stevie Styler up into 8th. He needs to have a pit stop pretty soon. Then Jim Wise behind him, medium on good fuel, just ahead of his teammate Shadow Rider. Shadow Rider looks like he's pitted recently as well. And Intula is in 11th, some 2.1 seconds, but it looks like he has just pitted also. And he's come out racing up and down the field. It's hard to keep track of all of this. In the chat, Racer Brown says, when can the reserve driver drive? Lol, I'm chomping at the bit watching this. It's crazy racing. So there goes Matt Psycho. Lap 28, he's come into the pits. He's going to put the medium tyres on and he's going to put some fuel in. I.R. Graham, like the last time round for the pit stops, has stayed out. Katoula is coming around, but he was 40 seconds behind Matt Psycho. He's only just ahead of Jam. And Katoula will have to pit at the end of this lap, I'm pretty sure, so Jam will continue and stay out there. So Alpine in 1st, but now the fuel's flashing on I.R. Graham's car. Matt Psycho out there on the medium tyres, half a tank of fuel. He's pushing like buggery. He wants to jump IR Graham in the pits. He seems to have to. He's a little bit faster than IR Graham in this race. It's crazy stuff. There goes Jam up into his third place. Waikatula stops and replenishes with fuel. Kale in fifth place. Is he going to carry on round? Those tyres are absolutely dead. He's got Noxie all over the back of him. He's continuing. He is carrying on. Kale, no fear with bad tyres. And Noxie moving up into fifth ahead of Cthulhu. Cthulhu then nearly just between the half and 3/4 tank of fuel on the medium tyres. 4.4 seconds behind Noxie and 30 seconds ahead of Shadow Rider. Shadow Rider's got somehow ahead of Jim One Wise. We sure Jim One Wise was just ahead. Intula now ahead of Stevie Styler after Stevie Styler has made a pit stop and Darren Salmon has come in for some pit stops. And he wasn't at the back, so we assume he's had a problem this lap. IR Graham then into the pits. So Matt Psycho, what can he do? Oh my word, it says he's 16.8 seconds. I think that was longer than last time. They came out virtually at the same point of the track. So Matt Psycho making his way round. IR Graham, he's now moving. He's moving. Matt Psycho, it says he's up, but it's not. It's there he is. IR Graham back out in the lead. And he's got a bit of a better lead than before. He's fueled up pretty much the same as Matt Psycho. And he's got 1.3 second lead on Matt Psycho now, which was pretty much what they had before they pitted, I suppose. So no change there between the top two. This is a bitter fight, and I don't think it's over by a long shot yet. 12 laps to go in this race, and I believe they may have another pit stop to go between the pair of them. Jam going around in third place. Great race for Aston Martin, but we know that Noxie is waiting to get back in there. There's Kale finally making that pit stop. He's gone really late. Will it have cost him with those tyres? There, and Cthulhu moving up into fifth place. Can Shadow Rider jump the McLaren? It might do. He might do. He's there. Jim One Wise. Cthulhu. Where is Kale? Kale's still stationary. Oh my, he might have stayed out too long on those medium tyres. He's lost a few places there. Intulu also getting ahead of him in the Ferrari. Kale coming out just 5 seconds ahead of Stevie Styler. Stevie Styler with half a tank of fuel will be chasing him down, but I think those Ferraris are hurting with that weight that's been added. They'll be asking for that to be taken off, I bet, after this race. There we see a Darren Salmon in 11th place. We've lost the two Red Bulls of Dutch and Lexus Maximus and the second McLaren of Skyjacker through varying different issues. There is IR Graham, 1.8 seconds ahead of Matt Psycho. Matt Psycho hunting him down like he has done for the whole of this race. They're both on medium tyres. They've both got similar fuel levels. Jam there, the second Aston Martin, in a great spot. He's got a pit soon though. His medium tyres starting to look used. He's got less than a quarter of a tank of fuel, and there is Noxie in the second Alpine, ready to get back on that podium. Third place, and there's Cthulhu in fifth. Medium tyres, half a tank of fuel, only 2 seconds behind Noxie. So close here. So close. After Jam's made his pit stop, he's going to come out right on Noxie and Cthulhu. Shadow Rider some 10 seconds behind these guys, closing the gap, but his tyres are starting to look used. His teammate Jim One Wise just behind him. That might have been an orchestrated move, because Jim One Wise was ahead of Shadow Rider, but Shadow Rider ahead in the championship, so maybe Jim One Wise moving over for Shadow Rider. Intula in 8th place, chasing down the two Williams drivers. They're in touching distance ahead of him. Kale, after his pit stop, he's put a lot of fuel in that car, and we know he takes those medium tyres deep into a race, but I think he may have lost himself a bit of time going so deep into this race. Stevie Styler not enjoying that Ferrari with that weight. He probably enjoys the extra power, but the extra weight really killing his buzz. And Darren Salmon, something about that Mercedes or this track this way round, he is not enjoying one bit. Not one bit there, it looks like, at the back. So, leading the race, 3.3 seconds, Matt Psycho. Matt Psycho's lap 31 was 32.2. He must have made some sort of mistake. It looks like IR Graham, in the final part of this race, is starting to put this bad boy to bed. Mika Wivery has retracted 2 messages, I missed them. Phone call, not now. Phone call, she says, not now. So I.R. Graham, 3 seconds leading from Matt Psycho. Alpine versus Aston Martin with the second Aston Martin. Now his fuel is flashing in third place. Let me dish out some of these. There's not been a lot. So there is a Jam in third. It looks like he's got his helmet all ready for the Sick Children's Trust. That we're sponsoring next Friday in our Bathurst race, and he definitely has to pit with Noxie 15.7 seconds behind him, chasing down that last podium place. There is Cthulhu keeping him honest, not far behind. Cthulhu did his best lap last lap, 32.4, with Noxie with a 33.2. So Cthulhu at this point in the race slightly faster than the Alpine driver in the Mercedes. Mercedes need a good show. Wow, they carry some speed in there, and he's thrown it really far off. Wow, I thought that looked too fast, and he went really wide then for Cthulhu. No, he's off again. Cthulhu really pushing. He really wants that podium, but he's going to find Shadow Rider is only 7 seconds behind him. He's only 7.3 seconds, but his fuel is flashing, so the two Williams will need to come in. There goes Jam. He's into the pit, so that puts Noxie. Can it put Noxie back up into third, or has Jam done enough? Can he get those wheels changed and get back out there ahead of Noxie? Noxie's on the start straight now. He says he's moved up to third. Jam still stationary. Cthulhu after a small mistake. He's coming around. He's got ahead of Jam, has he? Oh no, Jam back out in fourth place. But there is Cthulhu only just behind the Aston Martin. He's getting out of the way because it looked like Jam went out onto the dirt a little bit there. He's put the medium tyres on, and now he's chasing down, but those medium tyres are really cold. They take a while. Jim on Wise, he's moved up into sixth place because I think Shadow Rider has pitted. Intula also needing to pit, but he's in seventh. Stevie Styler up into eighth. He doesn't need to pit yet. He's ahead of Kale. Kale's got loads of fuel. His tyres still look good. He pitted quite recently, but he did a 37 on his last lap. That's not a great lap for Kale. Shadow Rider then in 10th. He's just pitted. He's put the hard tyres on. Looks like he's running to the end now. All of those that pit ahead of him, beware. And Darren Salmon in 11th, not enjoying this track this way around. Like I said, not many people, like the reverse tracks. They don't come up all that often. But I.R. Graham, 3.4 seconds. Matt Psycho, so close. I.R. Graham's got the fastest lap. He got it on lap 32 for Alpine. Done a 31.2 on his last time around. He's got a quarter of a tank of fuel. Looks like Matt Psycho is on the fastest lap at the moment. So there's nothing in between these guys. One small mistake, it seems, and it's gone to 3 seconds and stayed there. But we know Matt Psycho will have to pit before I.R. Graham. Noxie out there, 50 seconds behind that battle now, but he's 3 seconds ahead of Cthulhu, who is only just ahead of a Jam. Jim on Wise in 6th. He will have to pit soon. Stevie Styler up to 7th. Kale is up into 8th now because Intula has had to pit. Shadow Rider moving up to 9th. There is Intula. This must be his last lap. It's a bit early. That's going to go 8 laps, maybe 8 laps. Oh, he's going for the hard tyre. So, like Shadow Rider, he's going to follow him. Oh, Shadow Rider out wide. Not enjoying the lack of grip from these hard tyres. He's got to get used to it. He's only 6 seconds ahead of the Ferrari. Oh dear. I'm still online, aren't I? Oh yeah. Just said something on the iPad like something went wrong. Please tap to try again. But I'm still here. Let me see if the sound is still there. There you go. No, it's all good. It's all gravy, my friends out there in the YouTube world. I thought something had gone awfully wrong, but I think it was with my iPad. I keep my iPad running in the background so I can read your comments in case you want to interact in some way. It's down to 2.5 seconds, so Matt Psycho getting the fastest lap of 1:30.2 on lap 34. He's starting to do a push, but he's got to come in. This is he's going for a massive push before his pit stop. He'll go for a great outlap as well. Jim Wise coming into the pits. That moves Stevie Styler up into 7th if he continues. Or is he going to pit as well? He's continuing on. He's got some fuel left in that car, so the Ferraris, we keep seeing them. Like I said, at the end of their run, they're up there, but then they pit and drop to the back. It's that tight, this field. So IR Graham 2.7 seconds ahead of Matt Psycho. Matt Psycho's fuel is virtually on the line, and he has come in. Noxie is 3rd. He's got a quarter of a tank of fuel. His tyres are looking pretty worn. He did a 32.9 his last time around. He's half a second down on his own best time. So Noxie, I don't think he can jump. He's quite a way back. But Catula is ahead of Jam. He has been, but Jam is only 2 tenths behind. He's really pushing Catula hard now. He's losing a bit of downforce. Sat behind Catula. Let's sit on board with the Jam Stir, whilst chasing Fernando down for that 4th place. That could be 3rd. So it depends on Noxie's tyre strategy or pit strategy. Jam throwing everything he's got against the Spaniard to try and get something to stick. And it's a beautiful sight to see these cars trying to race each other. There's Catula. Catula's got into the pit lane. I didn't know he needed to pit. Let me get back out and let's have a look. Catula, his tyres were starting to be worn. This will be his last pit. This might be perfect. Matt Psycho, we saw pit. He's come back out in 2nd, 18.6 seconds. He's got half a tank of fuel. He's put the medium tyres on. Pretty sure IR Graham's going to pit at the end of this lap. So further down then, Noxie still staying out there in 3rd. He's got a bit of fuel to go. Jam staying out there. We know, could Jam make it to the end on that? Not sure. One to watch out for. There goes IR Graham. He's coming into the pit lane now. Matt Psycho pushing. We saw he was pushing before. It was about a 2.5 second gap between the two of them when Matt Psycho pitted. IR Graham still stationary. He's moving now. Here comes Matt Psycho on the start straight. It's going to be close between the two of them. There is IR Graham. He's out onto the track now. It's 4.8 seconds. We've got IR Graham saving. Oh well, we've got to let that tick down. 3.5 seconds. It was 2.5 seconds when they went into the pits. I think that's where it's going to level out to. It's still dropping between the two of them. 2.8 seconds, 2.7 seconds. So nothing in it between the 2 pit stops. Absolutely amazing. Well, a 46.1 for IR Graham in his pit stop lap, and a 47.2 for Matt Psycho on his pit stop lap. And 2.5 second gap between them. Noxie still there 3rd. We saw some pit stops further back. Here comes Noxie into the pits. He's only 4.8 seconds ahead of Jam. So Jam moving up into that 3rd place with half a tank of fuel and hardly used tyres. And there's only 5 laps left. We think Jam might not need to stop again. That might be Jam's podium. There's Noxie. He's coming out. He's got the hard tyre on, Noxie. Noxie's gone for the hard tyre. He's out ahead of Catula, who's on the medium tyres. He's nearly 5 seconds behind Noxie. Kale up into 6th place. Can he make it to the end? His tyres are looking grizzled, but he's got half a tank of fuel. Jim Wise, half a tank of fuel on the medium tyres in 7th place. Stevie Styler moving up into 8th. Has Intulu made a mistake? It looked like Intulu was dropping down positions, but no. Stevie Styler in 8th on the medium tyre. Shadow Rider on those hard tyres. Oh no. Looks like Shadow Rider's been in to get rid of the hard tyres, put mediums back on. Intulu, he's on the hard tyre, and Darren Salmon in 11th is on the medium tyre, some 23 seconds behind Intulu in the chat, and the site says great racing. It is. Oh, IR Graham looked like he was going out wide there, 2.7 seconds ahead of Matt Psycho. Lap 38 of 42 here, coming into the end of this race. Matt Psycho got the fastest lap on lap 37 with a 30.182. We're waiting for IR Graham's lap after his pit stop. It's intense stuff here between the two of them. And there is a Jam. Jam, we suspect, might not have to pit again, and has stolen that podium from Noxie right from under his nose. But Noxie is under immense pressure from Catula now. Fernando Catula there in 5th place, sniffing the back of the Alpine car, looking for an extra spot. Kale is in 6th place. His tyres are looking quite grizzled, and he's got Jim One Wise on some brand new tyres, sniffing around the back of him as well. It looks like there's some position changes to go yet in this last 5 laps. Or 4 laps as it is now. There you go, 4 laps. Stevie Styler in 8th place for Ferrari. Shadow Rider in 9th for Williams. Intula in 10th for Ferrari. A bad day for Ferrari here. We think the weight on that car, and Intula coming into the pits. He's going to get rid of those hard tyres, I think. No good, he says. IR Graham 2.2 seconds ahead of Matt Psycho. Matt Psycho then chasing him down, a 30.2 on his last lap. IR Graham's flying lap was a 30.8. 2 seconds between the two of them with only 3 laps to go. This is intense stuff. Jam doesn't look like he's going to have to pit again. Great strategy from Jam to get himself onto the podium. Noxie will be wondering what happened. He's on them hard tyres now, trying to go to the end. Katula chasing him down, less than a second on the medium tyres, quite fresh. And he's fancying that 4th place. Kale in 6th. His tyres are looking rough, and he's got Jim One Wise chasing him down. Stevie Styler for Ferrari in 8th place. Not bad, not bad. Consolidating a terrible day with an 8th place. 9th place for Shadow Rider. And Tulu down in 10th, and Darren Salmon in 11th for Mercedes. IR Graham now 1.3 seconds. Matt Psycho absolutely pulling out all the stops. We're on lap 39. This is intense from these two. We've also got racing down the field with... Oh, no, something's moved. Something's moved. What's changed? Stevie Styler, Jim One Wise must have had a small off. Must have had a small off. Jim One Wise, there we go, we just caught the end of it. Oh dear, Jim One Wise, what a shame. So Jim One Wise having a small off there and dropping a couple of positions. It looked like we thought he was going to attack Kale in 6th place. He's dropped down to 8th behind the Ferrari driver. Great stuff there. Shadow Rider, his teammate, only 1 second behind him now. Where was it there? Sorry. Oh, but it's Shadow Rider making a small mistake. Making a small mistake into a bigger mistake, but he's getting going now. Intula 18 seconds behind Shadow Rider, so I think Shadow Rider can afford it. 7 seconds behind his teammate now. What's happening up at the lead? I hear you say it's only half a second between him and Matt Psycho. Matt Psycho chasing down IR Graham. There is nothing in it between these two. Oh my God, close your eyes. 2 tenths. We're coming into the corner. This is going to be crazy stuff. Graham doing all he can to keep on this lead. Oh, he keeps that on. We saw Cthulhu doing something similar and going out wide. Now we've got a Williams coming up in the way. Will it just stay out of the way nice and easy and let the Alpine and Aston Martin fight their way through? IR Graham back up to 6 tenths now. He's found a little bit of space on Matt Psycho. So who is it? Jim One Wise? Is it Shadow Rider in 9th place? Trying to find his way around the track and not get in the way of the 2 leaders coming through. He's getting blue flags. He's trying not to get in their way. He's there, but they've not caught him up yet. So IR Graham 1.1 seconds ahead of Matt Psycho. The fuel is exactly the same. We're on the penultimate lap now already. And Sight says, come on. Whoa, this is crazy stuff. Now we see the Williams definitely getting out of the way, going wide around that corner, letting them both through. So IR Graham is 6 tenths ahead of Matt Psycho. Matt Psycho's getting purples. IR Graham chasing this win. He's had a great strategy all race. Matt Psycho now on him. There's a part of the track, it seems Matt Psycho's gone a 129.9 on lap 39, so Matt Psycho really grinding out those lap times. It's 2 tenths, there's 1 point in the track where Matt Psycho is so much faster than IR Graham. But if IR Graham can survive it, then he can pull away. But there goes Matt Psycho, he's out wide, but he's there. He's still there, it's 3 tenths down, there's nothing in it. I should be watching other people to see what's going on. Jam still in 3rd with Katula in 4th. Noxie is in 5th. Kale, I think we're all right. Kale is under threat from Stevie Styler. Stevie Styler having a great comeback race. But IR Graham is where we're watching, 3 tenths ahead of Matt Psycho. These two are going to take this championship all the way to the end. It's crazy stuff. They're coming around to start the final lap. Matt Psycho not settling on second place, it seems. He's going to push all the way to try and grab the win. There we go, final lap. IR Graham leading half a second from Matt Psycho. The other Aston Martin nearly a minute behind these guys. The fuel is flashing for Matt Psycho, but that's alright, it should last. Jesus, we're half a second between these two. All the way, they're going all the way. Graham maintaining that lead from Matt Psycho up to 6/10 now. I think Matt Psycho's tyres have given the best of what they're going to give. He's got the toe, he's pulling him in closer, 4/10. It's not going to be enough for Matt Psycho. He's going to have to settle for that second spot, I think. I think he needs IR Graham to make a mistake. 2/10, he's so close. He's on his rear wing. He's going for the move up the inside. Was there contact? Was there contact? I'm not sure. Yeah, I think he's had to lift. I think there was contact, slight contact there. And IR Graham retaking the lead of the race, with Matt Psycho trying not to lose any time from giving IR Graham the place back, because he probably still fancies a chance of getting it. In the last couple of corners, it's a tight section. He's going for the outside. There's no room round there. He can't do it. He can't do it. Here comes IR Graham to take the win of the third race of the championship. Great stuff. Matt Psycho in second, raced all the way to the end. Here comes Jam. Answer to our question, did he have enough fuel? Only just. Coming around to finish in third place. A great day for Aston Martin, a great haul of points there for Aston Martin. Brilliant stuff. Get in there, my son, Mika says, for her driver, Alpine driver, IR Graham. Good points for them as well, with Noxie in fifth. So here comes Jam. Wow, they were quite a way behind, weren't they? Katula, 3.6 seconds ahead of Noxie. Stevie Styler got Kale in the end. Kale was asking his tyres to do quite a lot there. So Stevie Styler, a great comeback for Ferrari. I wonder if they'll have their developments taken off for the next race. They might decide they're no good for them. And there we see Jam completing Aston Martin's day. 2 podium places. Great stuff there for Jam in third. Katula coming around there in 4th spot. Great points for Mercedes, finally kick-starting their championship. And comes Katula to cross the line in 4th place. Noxie then in 5th. Great second drive for Alpine. Stevie Styler coming from nowhere for Ferrari in 6th place. Kale coming across the line in 7th, but only just because Jimon Wise is right behind him for Williams, trying to get that place. 9th for Williams, if Shadow Rider. In Tulu for Ferrari in... Oh God, they didn't stay up long. We'll go to the final results anyway. Congratulations, that man, IR Graham. A great win with a lot of pressure, absolutely, for Alpine. Fantastic. So let's go and have a quick Scooby-Doo at the race results. Whoo-wee! That was a great race, guys. Really enjoyed that. Fantastic stuff. So here are your race results. The fastest lap was got by Matt Psycho on lap 39 with a 1:29.9. I think he pretty much sure he was the only one to get it into the 29s. And I think he only did it the once. So your winner, IR Graham, a great win there. I'm not going to move that arrow around, it's going to get on your nerves. Look at it going up because my joystick's broken. Stop it. There you go. So IR Graham takes the win for round 3 of the Formula X Championship for the Virtual Racers Club. In second spot, Matt Psycho says over the line it was only 9/10, and it was close run the whole way. Great racing from Matt Psycho and IR Graham. Jam with a great strategy, got himself on the podium there, going longer, and makes Aston Martin's day very good, with Matt Psycho and Jam both grabbing points at the top end of the race. Katula in 4th in Mercedes, great finish for him, and Mercedes finally getting their championship up and away. Noxie for Alpine in 5th, great points for Alpine for the next tokens gift. There is Stevie Styler in 6th for Ferrari. After those developments, looks like the weight really costing them here. Up the hill, we could see they were sitting ducks for the rest of the cars coming behind them. But through a sheer great strategy, Stevie Styler putting himself up to 6th. Kale was up there, but he asked his tyres to just do too much today. Those medium tyres went too long with them, and I think he lost a couple of positions for that, finishing in 7th. Jim Wise, great showing for Williams. Shadow Rider in 9th for Williams. In Tulu in 10th for Ferrari. Darren Salmon finishing 11th for Mercedes. And Skyjacker obviously having the pit glitch, unable to finish. Shame, because he was up there. He was racing for a podium as well. And Alexis Maximus and VRC Dutch unable to finish for the Red Bull team. So they won't be scoring much this time around. Whew-wee, that was fantastic. I really do enjoy this Formula X series, I must say. They've hit onto a winner for me. And even with these tokens, it mixes it up a little bit. It makes it a little bit more interesting. I can't wait for the next race. So, in the chat, we have Racer Brown saying, great racing, guys. Congratulations, Graham. Pat saying, double podium. Woohoo. Yes, he's our Aston Martin team principal, Pat. Racer Brown, great strategy from Jam. Well done. Alan Sykes says great racing. Mika Wivery says 2 in the top 5. She's happy with that. Mika Wivery also saying great race by both my guys. What a race by Noxie. Yeah, Noxie, fantastic stuff. Jonathan Knowles says, well, that's more like it. So he's happy with that. I think that might be Noxie. I'm not sure. And Flashman saying, well done, Team Williams. So, yes. Obviously, next week I'll read you the championship, but if you want to know it sooner, it'll probably be released in our Discord Monday or Tuesday. If you want to keep up with all of that stuff, check us out on Friday. We've got our big charity event, doing it for the children. Well, the parents of the children. So tune in on Friday evening for the Bathurst 2.5 hour race, where I will be virtually begging you to show us your effing money and giving it to us. Give us your bloody money. But it's going to be a great race in between all the begging, so come and check us out. Don't forget, if all of your racing sim needs is provided by our website, www.virtualracersclub.co.uk, where you can click on the link for Heel Tread to have a look at some amazing socks, and they have got an absolute bumper sale on at the moment. I'm pretty sure I saw 50% off, so definitely get in there and have a look at what they're flogging cheap, because they are great socks. I got some for Christmas and I absolutely love them. And if you're thinking of updating your wheel, go and check out Acerlith Designs. They've got some new designs for this year they're showing off, and they look absolutely cracking. They'll make you a second faster, I guarantee it. Come and find me. And then lovely stickers if you want to jazz up the wheel you already have, or your racing seat, or your stand, or your rig, or just anything you want to put a sticker on. Look at lovely stickers and they'll suit your needs. That is me, I think. That's everything. I've done all my peddling. Come and join our Discord. Come and be part of our fun group. Come and join some races. There's been always something signing up, but you have to be quick because they fill up pretty quick. I was your commentator. Oh, check out later on, there'll be some other YouTube things with Super GT Round 2 and the new Pacific Rim job. No, it hasn't got job at the end. I wanted them to find an acronym to have JOB at the end of Pacific Rim, but I don't think anyone else was up for that idea. But yeah, Pacific Rim will be debuting that this evening sometime during the night. So when you wake up Monday morning, there'll be a couple of new race videos for you on our YouTube channel, so it's well worth subscribing to. Click hit like and subscribe for my ego. Right, I was your commentator broadcaster. I've gone on way too long, so I will say goodbye and thank you. My name was Adam Zappel. Thank you for joining us. Good night. Sleep tight. Mind the bed bugs don't bite.